The lake visitor asterisk. The morning sun rose gently over the quiet valley, shining on the smooth surface of Lake Mirren. Birds chirped in the trees, and the breeze carried the smell of fresh pine. Near the lake's edge, a young man named Liam sat with his boots in the water, skipping stones. It was supposed to be a peaceful weekend. No noise, no city lights, just the trees, water, and silence. But then the silence was broken. A strange splash echoed across the lake. Liam stood quickly, eyes scanning the water. At first, he thought it was a fish or maybe a deer crossing. But then he saw her, a girl, not swimming, not playing. Drowning. Her arms flailed weakly before slipping under the surface. Without a second thought, Liam threw off his jacket and ran into the water. Cold waves hit his chest as he pushed forward, lungs burning. When he reached her, he grabbed her arm and pulled her up. Her skin was cold, too cold. He dragged her to the shore, laid her down, and began pushing on her chest. Water poured out from her mouth. She gasped, coughed hard, and opened her eyes. And Liam froze. Her eyes were glowing. Not just shining. Glowing blue, like twin stars in a midnight sky. Her skin, though smooth and soft, had a faint shimmer. Her hair was silver, not dyed, not fake. Real silver, almost floating in the breeze. Liam stepped back. What? What are you? She looked at him, confused, then spoke. The words weren't human. Soft, whispery, melodic. But he didn't understand any of them. Can you speak English? He asked slowly. She blinked. Then, after a moment, she nodded. Trying, she said, voice soft like a breeze. Hard, not same tongue. He helped her sit up. Where did you come from? She looked toward the lake, then up at the sky. Fell, sky, ship, broke, fire, pain. Liam's heart beat faster. He stared at her, really stared. Her clothes were strange. A single piece of tight, flexible cloth clung to her body. No zipper, no seams. It looked like it grew on her. He realized she wasn't just some lost girl in a costume. She was an alien, and he had just saved her life. The girl touched her chest. Name Leary, she said slowly. You help, I remember. Liam nodded. I'm Liam. Leary tilted her head. Liam. A strange sound came from deep in the trees. A clicking. Fast, low, metallic. Leary's eyes turned sharp. She stood suddenly. Danger, she said. Hunter. Found me. Liam grabbed her arm. What hunter? There are bears here sometimes, but no, Leary said. Not bear. Not earth. She grabbed his hand and pulled him into the woods. They ran together, leaves cracking beneath their feet. Leary's legs moved fast, too fast. She had barely woken up from nearly drowning, but now she ran like she had trained her whole life. Behind them, another splash came from the lake. Liam turned as they reached a rocky path uphill. He looked back and saw a dark shape rise from the water. Tall, thin, too many arms. A black metal body. Not human. Move, Leary said. Faster. They didn't stop until they reached Liam's small cabin. He slammed the door shut and pulled. The heavy bolt across it. Ally. Our eyes stood in the middle of the room, breathing hard. What is that thing? He asked. What is happening? Leary looked at him. Her eyes still glowed, but now there was sadness in them. Crash. Not accident, she whispered. They sent it to end me. Liam sat down, his mind spinning. He had come for peace, for a quiet weekend. Instead, he had pulled an alien girl from a lake. And now something not from Earth was hunting her. And they were both in its way. Asterisk. The thing that followed asterisk, Liam didn't sleep that night. He sat by the window with a flashlight in one hand and a hunting rifle in the other. Leary stood beside the fireplace, arms crossed tightly across her chest. She hadn't spoken much since they reached the cabin. Her glowing eyes stayed on the door, watching, waiting. Outside, the forest was too quiet. No crickets, no birds. Not even wind. It was like the whole world was holding its breath. Liam glanced at her. You said they sent it. Who are they? Leary didn't answer at first. Her fingers traced the edge of the wooden wall, almost like she missed something far away. My family, she finally said. Not kind family. I ran, escaped, but they sent a shadow. Liam frowned. Why would your own kind hunt you? She looked up, because I saw what I wasn't supposed to see. Before Liam could ask more, a soft click echoed from the trees outside, then another, then dozens. The sound moved slowly, like claws tapping against bark and stone. Liam jumped too. His feet, its back. He handed Leary a small kitchen knife. It was a stupid move, useless against something from space, but it was all he had. I don't need that, Leary said softly. And then, right in front of his eyes, her skin changed. Not the color, but the surface. It shimmered, hardening. Her arms glowed with pale blue lines, running like energy through her veins. Her eyes grew brighter, almost burning. Liam took a step back. You're not just some alien, are you? Leary looked at him calmly. I'm a protector. Or, I was, until they made me a target. The cabin shook. Thud. A heavy weight dropped onto the roof. Dust rained from the ceiling beams. Liam pointed the rifle toward the door. Tell me that's not what I think it is. Leary walked to the center of the room. Stay behind me. The front door exploded. Wood flew everywhere as the black metal hunter stepped through. Its body was long, tall, and had 4 arms, each one ending in sharp silver claws. Its face had no mouth, only red glowing eyes that locked onto Leary. It charged. Liam shouted, but before he could fire, Leary moved. She was faster than anything Liam had ever seen. Her body twisted like water, dodging the claws. Her glowing hands struck the machines, sighed, sending it crashing into the wall. But the hunter didn't fall. It spun, swiping low, knocking Leary off her feet. Liam raised his rifle and fired. The shot echoed loud, but the bullet bounced off the thing's armor like a pebble. Leary rolled, then jumped back up. Not enough power, she said through gritted teeth. I'm still weak. The machine turned toward Liam. He froze. It leaped, but Leary was faster. She pushed Liam aside and took the full hit. The hunter slammed her against the wall with a sickening crack. She gasped but didn't scream. Instead, she reached out, grabbed the machine's face, and her hand pulsed. Bright light exploded from her palm, hitting the machine's head with pure force. It shrieked, not a sound of pain, but something deeper. A sound that made Liam's bones shake. Then it turned and ran, crashing back into the woods. Silence returned. Smoke rose from Leary's hand. Her body trembled. She dropped to her knees, rushed to her side. Are you okay? She nodded weakly. It's not done. It'll return. But now it knows. I'm not weak. Liam helped her to the couch. He grabbed a blanket, wrapping it around her. I don't know what all this is, he said quietly. But if they want you dead, they'll have to go through me too. Leary looked at him, surprised. You'd stand against them. For me? Liam smiled slightly. Well, you've kind of made it hard to walk away. She blinked. A strange light shone in her eyes. Not power this time. Something softer. Hope. Outside, the forest slowly came back to life. But Liam knew this wasn't the end. It was only the beginning. The signal that shouldn't exist By morning, the hunter was gone, but the fear still hung in the air. Leary sat quietly on the porch, wrapped in Liam's jacket. Her glowing eyes looked across the lake, like she was searching for something. Maybe an answer. Maybe a memory. Liam brought her a mug of hot tea. "It's not much," he said, "but it helps." Leary held the mug carefully, staring at the steam rising from it. "Warm," she whispered. "We do not drink this back home. You miss it?" Liam asked, sitting beside her. She didn't answer right away. "I don't know," she said finally. "I don't know if I'm allowed to miss it." Liam didn't push. He could tell her thoughts were still far away. And honestly, his own thoughts were spinning too. He kept seeing the machine, the red eyes, the claws, the sound it made when it screamed. "How did you destroy it like that?" he asked. Leary looked at her hand. The skin there had turned a little darker, like the energy had left a mark. "I was trained to defend the royal line," she said, "but I wasn't the heir. I wasn't important, just a shadow. Until I found something I wasn't supposed to see." Liam frowned. "What did you find?" She looked at him slowly. "A hidden project. A weapon. My people were building something to erase other species. Entire worlds. I stopped it. I destroyed the data. That's why they sent the hunter." Liam stood up. "They're scared of you." She nodded. "Now they think I'm the threat." Suddenly, a sharp beep echoed from inside the cabin. Leary jumped. Up. Liam ran inside. It was his emergency radio. He had left it on the shelf, unused for years. But now red lights blinked and static filled the room. Then came the voice. "Anyone receiving this is a warning. Do not approach the lake. Repeat, do not approach the lake. Strange signals. Unknown object seen. Authorities are searching." Liam and Leary stared at the device. "That's not normal," Liam said. Leary looked uneasy. "They're scanning, looking for me. But that voice, it's not just human." Liam turned to her. "What do you mean?" She walked closer to the radio and touched the speaker. A faint hum passed into her hand. "This message," she said slowly, "it's not only from Earth. They've tapped your systems. They're watching your world." Liam's heart dropped. "You mean others? More of those hunters?" Leary nodded. "One might have failed, but they never stop with just one." Liam grabbed his bag. "Then we need to move, now." They packed. Quickly. Leary took only the essentials. Water, food, a blanket, and a metal shard from the hunter's arm she had ripped off during the fight. It pulsed weakly, like it still held some kind of energy. They left the cabin and headed through the woods, sticking to hidden trails. Leary's glowing lines faded as the sun rose higher, and Liam could tell she was weakening again. By the time they reached the edge of the valley, she was barely walking. "Rest." "Here," Liam said, helping her sit beneath a tree. Leary leaned her head back. "They are moving faster. I feel it." "Can they track you?" "They don't track me," she whispered. "They track the code I carry. In my blood." Liam looked at her. "Then we'll have to figure out a way to block it." Leary gave a tired smile. "You care too much for someone you just met." Liam shrugged. "You're not just anyone." She looked at him closely. "Why?" He thought for a moment, then said, "Because you were drowning. And when someone's drowning, you don't ask where they're from. You just pull them out." Leary's smile grew, but it faded quickly. The trees behind them shook. Not wind. Not animals. Something heavy. Multiple footsteps. Leary stood up slowly. "They're here." Liam gripped the rifle tighter. The hunter wasn't alone this time, and the chase was beginning again. Asterisk hunted across the hills. Asterisk, the forest no longer felt safe. The air had turned colder, and the shadows stretched longer, even though it was barely past noon. Liam and Leary moved carefully through the trees, avoiding open paths. Every few minutes, Leary would stop and place her hand on the ground, eyes closed. "They're close," she whispered. 3 of them, moving as one. Liam glanced over his shoulder. He couldn't see anything yet, but the silence behind them felt thick, unnatural. "How long until they catch us?" "If we keep moving." "Maybe 1 hour," she replied. "But they're faster, smarter now." Liam tightened the straps of his bag. "Then we need to find high ground." They climbed the hillside to an old ranger lookout. It had been abandoned for years, but it still stood tall above the trees. From there, Liam scanned the forest below with an old pair of binoculars. Then he saw them. 3 black figures moved through the trees, not walking, gliding. Their shapes shimmered like they were part machine, part mist. One of them raised its head and looked directly at him. Liam pulled back. "They saw me." Leary stepped beside him, placing the glowing metal shard on the wooden floor. It buzzed faintly. "They're linked," she said, "through this. That's how they talk, think, hunt." Liam looked at the shard. "Can we use it?" She hesitated. "I can try to overload it. Create a burst. It could block their signal." "Could?" Liam asked. Leary nodded. "Or it could explode." Before Liam could decide, something slammed into the base of the tower. Wood cracked. Dust fell from the ceiling. "They're here!" Liam shouted, aiming his rifle at the stairs. "Lir." I held the shard tight, her body glowing again. But this time, the light was unstable. It flickered. Her legs shook. "Not enough strength," she said, breathing heavily. "I need time." Liam stepped forward. "Then I'll buy you some." She looked at him. "You won't survive." He smiled. "I'll survive long enough." The first hunter burst through the door below. Liam fired. The shot hit the creature's chest, barely slowing it down. It kept coming, its claws tearing through the wood. The second and third followed. Leary knelt in the corner, pressing both hands to the shard. The blue light spread across the floor like ripples in water. At the tower shook. Liam backed up the steps, firing again. The bullets didn't stop them, but they gave him seconds just enough. "Now, Leary," he yelled. She didn't reply, but the glow from the shard turned white. Blast of pure energy exploded from her hands. The sound was deafening. Everything went white, then silence. When Liam opened his eyes, the top half of the tower was broken. Smoke rose from the center. The 3 hunters lay motionless on the ground below, scattered, their bodies dark and still. Leary was lying on her side, barely breathing. He crawled over to her. Hey, are you okay?" She opened her eyes. Slowly. "Too much, too fast. You did it," Liam whispered. "You stopped them." She smiled weakly. "Not all. Just these." Liam helped her sit up. "Then we keep going." She looked at him, confused. "Why do you stay? You could run." He shook his head. "If I run now, I'll regret it forever." A soft breeze passed through the broken tower. Leary leaned against him. "Then I'll stay too." Liam looked at the sky. Storm clouds were forming in the distance, but his mind was clear. This wasn't just about survival anymore. They had become something more, something the hunters didn't expect. A team. *A. Message from the stars. *. 2 days passed. Liam and Leary had moved far from the lake and the old tower. They now lived inside a half-ruined cave near the cliffs. The cave was hidden, hard to reach, and surrounded by thick trees. At night, they took turns watching the forest. By day, they searched for food and water. But something had changed. Leary was growing weaker. Each time she used her energy, it drained more from her than before. Her glow faded. Her voice had become softer. Liam knew she was dying. "We need help," he said one morning. "I don't care if it's from your world or mine. You can't keep going like this." Leary sat on a rock outside the cave, her silver hair blowing in the wind. "There is one way," she said quietly. "A beacon, buried in my ship. If I reach it, I can send a signal." Liam leaned forward. "You mean a signal to someone who can help?" Leary nodded. "Maybe, if the signal reaches the right ones. But if the wrong ones hear it first, more hunters will come." Liam stood. "Ben will make sure the right ones hear it." She looked at him. "You believe that?" He gave a small smile. "I believe in you." They left the cave at noon and traveled back toward the crash site deep in the forest near the other side of the lake. Leary guided them, using weak signals from her broken metal shard. The closer they got, the more nervous she became. "They'll be guarding the wreck," she said. Liam tightened his grip on the rifle. "Let them try." By evening, they reached a ridge. Below, through thick trees, Liam saw her ship. What was left of it? Twisted metal, scorched earth, black marks in the grass. It looked like it had fallen from space and burned everything in its path. But deep in the center, a dull blue light still pulsed. "That's the core," Leary whispered. "The beacon is inside it." Liam studied the area with binoculars. No hunters, not yet. They moved quickly, sliding down the ridge and ducking behind wreckage. The closer they came to the blue light, the hotter the air felt. Finally, Leary reached the control panel, now half-melted and full of ash. She pressed her palm to the surface. It lit up. "Signal is opening," she said. "It will take a minute." Suddenly, the air shifted. Liam turned around, gun raised. 3 dark shapes stepped out from the trees. Hunters, but different. Bigger, heavier armor. One had wings of black energy. The others had glowing red swords in place of arms. "LIR," I gasped. "Elite class." Liam fired first, but the bullets bounced off. The hunters moved faster than the last ones, charging toward the ship. Leary stood up. "Buy me time." "Just 1 minute." Liam didn't answer. He just ran toward the closest hunter, shouting to pull its attention. It swiped at him. He ducked. The second hunter leapt over him, heading straight for Leary. She raised her arms, weakly glowing. A shield of energy formed in front of her, barely stopping the blade. The third hunter jumped over the wreck and landed beside Liam. He tried to roll, but its claw sliced across his arm. Pain shot through him, but he didn't stop. He tackled the hunter into a pile of rubble. "Leary's." Voice echoed across the wreck. 30 seconds. The first hunter broke her shield. She fell to the ground. The second hunter raised its blade, but froze. A loud ping echoed in the air. The beacon had activated. A pulse of blue light shot straight into the sky, cutting through clouds, past the atmosphere. The hunters turned toward it. They screamed and vanished, not destroyed, pulled away like something stronger had yanked them from the world. Liam crawled toward Leary. "You did it." "The signal, it worked." Leary smiled weakly. "Someone heard. Someone strong." Liam helped her sit up. "Then what happens now?" She looked up at the night sky. "Now we wait and hope the right ship answers." Far above, a new light blinked in space, small, silent, and fast. Someone was coming. They came from the sky. The forest was quiet again. Too quiet. Liam sat beside Leary in the wreckage of her ship. The signal still pulsed gently from the beacon, but she hadn't spoken for hours. Her head rested on his shoulder, eyes half closed. He could feel her getting colder. "You'll be okay," he whispered. "Help is coming." Above them, the stars blinked in the night sky. Then one star moved. Not falling. Descending. Liam stood and looked up. A silver light cut across the clouds, quiet and smooth like a feather. It didn't roar like human ships or burn the sky with fire. It just floated controlled. And perfect. The ship was shaped like a crescent moon, glowing softly at its edges. It hovered above the trees, and then slowly lowered itself near the clearing. Leary opened her eyes. They came. Who are they? Liam asked. She tried to sit up, weak but smiling. My mother's old allies, a rebel fleet. They believe in peace, not power. The ship's underside opened. A ramp extended to the ground. Two figures stepped out. One was tall, wearing white armor that shimmered in the dark. The other was smaller, cloaked in gray, with glowing golden eyes. They approached slowly. The taller one knelt beside Leary. You sent the signal. Leary nodded. I had no choice. They found me. The golden-eyed figure looked at Liam. And this is the one who saved you? Leary smiled. Again and again. Liam stepped back. You're not just anything, the taller figure said. You carried her through fire. That means everything to us. Leary touched Liam's arm. They'll help now. You don't have to run anymore. He shook his head. I'm not leaving you. The golden-eyed figure stepped closer. If you stay, you may face more than just hunters. Her family will return. Stronger, crueler. Liam nodded. Then I'll face them. The two alien figures exchanged a glance. Then the taller one said, We will take you both. She needs our medical chamber. And you, he paused, studying Liam. You need answers. They lifted Leary gently and carried her into the ship. Liam followed, nervous but ready. Inside, the ship was quiet and full of light. No metal sounds, no cold floors. Everything seemed alive like it breathed softly around them. They placed Leary in a crystal pod that glowed blue. As soon as she lay inside, her breathing slowed, then became steady. A soft light circled her body. She recovered. The tall one said. Liam let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. Thank you. The golden-eyed figure handed him a small device. This was found in her memory core. A message from her sister. He played it. A voice, sharp and cold, echoed in the room. You betrayed your blood, Leary. You chose a world of insects. When we find you, we will erase them all. Liam clenched his fists. She's still in danger. The taller one nodded. Yes, but not alone anymore. He looked at Liam. We offer you a place with us. You've seen too much to return to a quiet life. You've stood against death machines, risked your life for someone you didn't know. Liam looked through the glass at Leary, peaceful inside the pod. He remembered pulling her from the lake. He remembered her hand in his. I'm not leaving her now, he said. The taller one smiled. Then the ship began to rise above the trees, above the clouds, toward space, toward whatever came next. Her power awakened. The stars outside the window moved slowly as the ship glided through space. Liam sat beside Leary's healing pod. She looked peaceful now, glowing softly inside. The crystal chamber, her breathing strong, the silver in her hair shining brighter than before. It had been 3 days since they left Earth. He had spoken with the crew, learned the names of the two who had saved them, Commander Vel and Seer Nira. Both had once served in Leary's royal court, but turned against the crown when they saw what the rulers were doing to other worlds. She was born with power, Nira said quietly one evening, but they were afraid of her heart. She didn't want to rule by fear. She wanted freedom. Liam nodded. Then they sent machines to silence her. And she survived, Vel said, because of you. Liam didn't know what to say. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't special. He had just seen someone drowning and reached out. But maybe that was enough. Suddenly, alarms echoed through the ship. Red lights flashed. Leary's pod flickered. Liam jumped to his feet. What's happening? Vel ran to the command panel. A warp breach. Something's coming fast. It's not ours. Outside, the stars blinked dot and then darkness. A massive ship appeared out of nowhere, black, sharp, and silent. It had no windows, no lights. Only a symbol burned on its front, a red crown inside a circle. Liam recognized it from Leary's memory. Shard dot her family dot the enemy. We've been found, Nira said. Vel activated the defense shields. We can't outrun it. Liam turned to Leary's pod. We need her. No. Suddenly, the crystal pod cracked with light. Her eyes opened, and they were glowing gold. Leary sat up, slowly, power flowing around her like wind. She looked at Liam. They came. You're still weak, Liam said, holding her shoulders. Don't push it. She placed her hand over his. I'm not weak anymore. She stepped out of the pod barefoot, her silver hair floating gently, as if the air itself responded to her presence. She moved to the main deck. Asterisk outside, the enemy ship released dozens of hunter drones faster, stronger, winged with blades. They sped toward the ship. Leary stood at the window. She raised one hand, and the entire ship glowed. The hunter drones slowed. Then stopped, then turned to dust, disintegrating mid-flight, like their code had been rewritten. Everyone on the bridge froze. Nira whispered. She awakened. Leary turned to them. They used my power to create death. Now I will use it to bring balance. But the main ship, the dark flagship of her family, charged its weapons. Fired a beam of red energy, cutting through space like a sword. Liam shouted, Shields can't stop that. But Leary stepped forward. And vanished. For a moment, everything was silent, and light filled the screen. The red beam bent, then shattered, and the dark flagship broke in half. Leary stood outside in space, her body glowing with golden light, untouched by the vacuum. She raised her arms, and the enemy ship dissolved, piece by piece, into harmless particles. Then she returned, floating softly through the airlock. She looked at Liam, tired but calm. It's over. Liam ran to her, catching her as she stumbled. You destroyed their ship. I didn't destroy them, she said softly. I freed them, the machines they made. I changed their code. Liam smiled. So now what? She looked up at him. Now I go back, not as a lost girl, but as something more. You're not going alone, Liam said quickly. She smiled. I was hoping you'd say that. He held her hand. I pulled you from the water. You pulled me into the stars. I guess we're even. Leary leaned against him, and as the stars stretched ahead and the crew prepared for their journey home, the galaxy felt just a little more hopeful. Because a girl once thought worthless had become the key to peace, and the human who saved her was now part of something far bigger than Earth. Together, they were unstoppable. Asterisk.